1, 2, 3. Howdy, how you doing? You having a good day? I'm having a pretty average day. Watching all these videos. The protesters. But we got to call them protesters, not rioters, not looters, not seditious, treasonous traitors, not human traffickers, because that's what illegal aliens are. If they're supported by other people, it's human trafficking. That's how I see it. But I'm just watching people throw rocks, throw bricks, whatever they can get their hands on, and cars, you know, the immigration and custom enforcement, cars, trucks, tanks from the National Guard in the United States, and even people spitting on people while they're holding the Mexican flag. Viva la Mexico, I guess. I wonder if the little chihuahua in Mexico supports that. People in the United States holding up the Mexican flag while they riot and throw dangerous weapons, because a rock can kill someone. I wonder if that's supported by the little Mexican chihuahua. I don't know, I don't think so. But probably, well, whatever it takes to get that money from America, I guess. But I'm shocked. I'm born in 1979, and let me tell you a little story. In 1984, I was just a young 5-year-old kid, just going to elementary school, just having fun, right? And one morning, I went across to my neighbour's house because I wanted some Cocoa Pops in an orange bowl, I remember. Okay. Our neighbour had a whole bunch of older girls, and they adored me, so they'd give me a bowl of Cocoa Pops. Neighbour said, "Does your mother know you're here?" "Yes, my mum knows." "Okay, you can get some Cocoa Pops then." A couple of minutes later, after my mother had searched our house for me, couldn't find me, she decided to come across. She found me there. She got the belt out, because she carried the belt with her across, whacked me a few times. I think it was about 7 times. I can still remember the incident. I can still remember the kitchen. I can see it. I can see my neighbour. I can see the girls at the kitchen table. My neighbour wholeheartedly, they all supported what my mother did. Well, he lied, okay, whack him. I never went there again without my mother's permission. My mother drew a line, a boundary, and I knew not to cross it. I've never thrown a rock at a car, because I sort of knew that there was a line to be drawn, there was a boundary, you couldn't overcross this. I've never thrown a rock at a person. But I knew there was a boundary, there was a line. I've thrown a football at a person, I've thrown baseballs at people. I know, because there's a boundary, there's a line that we can throw sport equipment at people, because, you're throwing baseball, you got to throw the ball. If you're throwing a cricket ball, you got to throw it. You throw an American football at somebody, I could throw beautifully an American football, perfect spiral all the way, 60 yards all day. I knew I can throw that, but I can't throw a rock at a person, because I had these boundaries instituted in my development when I was younger. But what I see with all these 20-year-old punk kids on the street now, they don't have character. They don't have the boundaries. They don't have that ability to stop and think. They just seem to think they can get away with anything they want. Now, whose fault is it? Is it their fault? Well, yes, of course it is. But how are these kids being brought up? And I'll tell you that I can remember when I finished school, my high schooling, whatever. The next 2 or 3 years after that, So up until about year 2000, 2001, it was still tough school. But then after that, all these left-wing behavioural psychologists came in and said, oh, you can't use, physical reprimand on students anymore. You have to coddle to their personalities and their emotions and feelings. There shouldn't have been detention. You should just send them to a child psychologist or a school counsellor so they can talk about their feelings. That's where it started. And when parents started to agree with that, I've been belted by my mother and father a few times because I got out of hand, And I then knew that I didn't want to get in trouble again. Nowadays, ICE or no federal agents aren't even arresting these people. Now, what are they? Domestic terrorists. Why? Because they're terrorizing. They're terrorizing the good people of LA too. They don't want to go near them. And it seems like they're allowed to do anything they want. Because these days, if you're walking the street and you're not part of the protest and they think you're, a Trump supporter, a fascist Nazi, these words have lost all meaning. If they think you're one of those people, they're going to go after you. But if you defend yourself, maybe preemptively defend yourself, you can get charged. You get charged with assault. But they don't get charged with anything. I'm sure some of them get arrested, but the majority get to just walk around and do whatever they want. And it seems to be happening only in Democratic Party strongholds. Why is that? Because they can get away with it. I don't know a situation where a nation can withstand this for a very long time without, at the end of it, being authoritarian government takeover, police mandates, police state mandates everywhere. COVID-19 was a perfect example. Democratic states in Australia, the Labor Party states, left-wing states. Australia, Labor, Liberal are the same. They're both the same parasitic organism in the poo. They're exactly the same. I've given up all hope on them. But we see that is what the end game is. Okay, that's what the Democratic Party want. They want to control everything you think about. Okay, they don't want you to have any free thought whatsoever. They hate that because if anybody actually had free thinking, they would never vote Democratic Party in the United States. And this is really, really nasty, what's happening. Now, let me just also tell you something else. A nation can't survive without an agreed upon culture, nationality, and national symbols and traits within the people. And without the rules and laws not just being agreed to, but people complying to them and being enforced. And this is not happening in the United States. Because there's one political party that can no longer rely on the Caucasian voters. It can no longer rely on black voters. It can no longer rely on American, Hispanic and Latino voters. Because they're all turning away. They're all turning to Trump now, President Trump. The Democratic Party's only base is illegal aliens. Now, human traffickers, drug smugglers. That's it. There's nobody else. And of course, Hollywood. Hollyweird. That's the only people that could vote Democratic Party. So it needs to import new voters. They basically need at least 30 million to offset the fact that so many people that 10 years ago probably would have voted Democratic Party are now leaning right. They need their 30 million new illegal alien voters. And they're going to get it. We've just seen California congressmen and senators storm buildings and offer a performance that they've been told to do by the Democratic Party oligarchs in order to keep their position within the Democratic Party. Democratic Party politicians are performative actors. They're told exactly what to do, when to do it, how to say it. That's why they all sort of read off the same script, right? And if they don't, they lose their position in the party. We've just seen David Hogg, that little twink, little looking thing. I think he's a bit of a pervert too, right? They found out through all these text messages he's a bit of a pervert towards women, which surprised me. I thought he was gay, but anyway, who cares? It's scary that all these people are supposed to read off a script. Who writes it for them? And what's the purpose? Well, we know that Democratic Party, $20 billion rail project over 20 years. There's 17 billion, wasn't it? It's all disappeared. All the non-government organisation money, it's all disappeared. Black Lives Matter, billions and billions raised. It never went to the money never went to black people. Where is all this money going? And they fight Doge because it's found out Democratic Party is a money laundering operation. No, you can't do this. You can't tell the truth. We're a money laundering operation. Yes, we want to steal taxpayer money. Yes, that's why we have international government organizations all over the place. Well, Bill Clinton basically signed the United States up to, basically to allow China into the World Trade Organization to be a preferential trading partner. There was a lot of Democratic Party owned. There were consultancy firms set up in China. They all did this so they could make millions. Private jails, that all those people vote Democrat. Oh man. America needs to find its national identity again. It needs to uphold its rules and laws. No amnesty anymore. Anybody who's in America illegally, unlawfully, just let them go. I mean, just send them to India. Who cares? Just send them to somewhere. Nobody gives a shit about. Don't even send them back to their home. Send them to Mexico, have that big wall, and let the little chihuahua there, let her deal with them all. But find your national culture. Get back to these American roots. What is it? What is America? Land of opportunity, freedom, rule, law. Neighbours can talk to each other, regardless of political ideology. But that's impossible now, because I think that the radical left-wing lunatics, that you can no longer have a rational conversation with them. These people used to be the ones in the mental hospitals, in the institutions. Now they're just out getting their transgender surgeries and ordering, spiced lattes from Starbucks. You can always, and getting nose rings, of course. You can always spot a mentally disturbed person depending on their drink order at Starbucks. I go into Starbucks, they go, just get me a coffee with milk. And if they go, do you want a spiced frappuccino frappe? I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I don't want that. But the next person, yeah, I'll have that. And can you just sprinkle a little bit of extra bloody soy milk on it? Then I know that person needs to be in a mental institution. And they probably vote Bernie Sanders. Bernie! He needs a sixth house now. I bet he's probably got a sixth house. Who knows? Might even be on his seventh. Lucky 7. And capitalism can work for only Bernie, but not you. You should be a socialist like he's not. And we see all these people, Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren coming out. Oh, the federal government overreacted. Well, your state government's overreacted in COVID-19 time. So shut the fuck up, Pocahontas. Native Americans should not have to deal with her bullshit. Okay. Maxine Waters, that is just Skeletor, the Negro Skeletor. It's just scary, that anybody would ever listen to her. Democratic Party is basically performative artists that work for the oligarchs that give them some crumbs, but they all end up being multi-millionaires. And I don't think there's any coming back from all these protesters. They practiced during the summer of love. They practiced BLM riots. They've done all their practice. They've done all their homework, and they're so deranged and mentally incapacitated because when they were younger, their parents never smacked the shit out of them. I'm sorry, but that's it. Anyway, we live in a very sad world. President Trump, 2028. Oh no, let's give it a JD Vance. Let's see him step up to the plate. Then Byron Daniels. Then we'll Kristi Noem. Nancy Mace, I like her too. Let's give them all a shot. But in the States, you got to stop voting Democrat because these people are evil, seditionists, treasonous bastards that don't give a shit about anybody but illegal aliens. Because if they put the kind of effort into fighting for homeless Americans and American drug addicts, there would be no homeless problem in America, no drug addict problem in America. But they don't. Because they can't win those votes. They've already got them. They steal the mail-in ballots from them. They just need more illegal aliens to vote for them as well. And keep going in that fashion. Anyway, I better leave it. Have a fantastic day, good people. And I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.